generation companies take over, certainly you can only see those figures go up.
All right. Now, but we know that gas is really very important. And when I spoke with Dr. Amadi, he talked about commercialization of gas. How would that work? How can that actually help in improving power?
Yes, we've all agreed, and the reform also supports, and also the policy of government of gas, making gas available to the generation companies needs a lot of investment. The government cannot generate those investments. They cannot put down those money because there are a lot of things that the government needs to do with money. And the only places where these monies are all over the world is in the hands of private people. And we've only done very well with exporting gas, but making gas available for local consumption, there's very weak investment in that sector. And if the government's policy to crave investment in this sector is not only on paper, and they seem to put everything behind this, I think it's also achievable.
Okay. Now, what's your view on the current electricity tariff increases? I took Dr. Amadi up on that, and of course, as a regulator, I was very concerned about them being able to ensure that these private companies don't exploit the consumers. So I'm sure the consumers, or most consumers, are particular about the pricing. And you heard him, he says it will keep going up. And they had explained earlier that they had to increase the tariff so as to, attract investment into the sector. What's your take in all of that?
Yes, I would agree with the chairman of NERC, but I feel sorry also for the consumers of power in Nigeria, because certainly they will be exploited. They will certainly be exploited. If you look at the gap between those who have prepaid meters right now, there's a gap from the figure I saw, 3 million consumers don't have meters, working meters. So they are actually placed on estimated billing. And estimated billing is an easy way to rob any consumer.
Are we saying that even with the privatization, they will still have this estimated billing going on?
You would have for some time. Yes, we would have for some time, because 3 million is a lot of deployment. The DG of BP sometime last week had said that about 77 billion naira is needed to get enough metering in the system to discourage exploitation. And I think that 77 billion naira should be part of what the government should be looking at putting into the sector to help consumers, to allay the fears of consumer, because that's the only way they can be exploited.
All right, looking at all of these things, what are the opportunities for Nigerian engineers in the reform? Are Nigerians really taking advantage of the opportunities? You're an engineer yourself. Yes, so what are the opportunities?
The opportunities can only favor Nigerian engineers. I'm very happy, and I'm very proud to be alive during this period when this opportunity is open for a lot of unemployed engineers to find job, because certainly there will be a lot of job once these investments begin to come in, and once the current investors begin to recover their money, to continue to expand. We need to move power generation from 1,400 that we are now, where we're targeting 10,000 by 2020. So that's a lot of investment, that's a lot of employment in that sector. And I would encourage those who are yet to decide on what career to do to certainly face the electrical engineering to career, and because that opportunity is there for the country to grow. We cannot continue to import labor. We certainly will need to generate our own capacity here locally.
All right. Now, there is a school of thought that believes that what the sector really need is proper professional management and not really privatization. Do you share that view? And are you in support of the sell-off of the power plants, really?
Yes, I'm in support of the power plants, but importing human capital that has experience and capacity to manage some of these power plants are not something that we can, of course, sidetrack. And if we do not have capacity, we certainly need to seek where in the world that we can employ this capacity. We are doing so in the construction industry. We're doing so in the manufacturing industry. We have some expatriates working even in the oil and gas industry. So if we have expatriates also coming in to help us develop power capacity locally in the power sector, I don't frown at that. But it's a combination of both that will help Nigeria get to where it desires to be.
All right. So what, in your own view, do you think, looking at this whole thing, the new development and all that, what's in your own view do you think the government should do to really harness this opportunity that we have actually seen in the power sector, having people come to invest? What are your expectations from the government so that this whole thing can actually work?
Yeah, the government side is not to turn their backs at this stage where this thing has been sold. Their own job also, I mean, the part of government's duties right now is to protect those investors, to make sure that they give the conducive environment for them to thrive. Some of them have been asking for tax holidays. I do not see anything wrong with getting those tax holidays for it to only add value to the growth of the sector. And since we've set a target that seems to be very, very high for the country, the government needs to play her own part to ensure that these investors survive.
All right, but maybe to ask, what is the status of this NIPP, project?
The NIPP project, my advice to government, of course, is that this NIPP project should be completed at the shortest possible time. They've set targets for next year for them to be completed. But as soon as they complete it, they should not even try to run them. I think immediately any of these power projects are ready, they should be sold to the organized private sector. And what government should do with that money is to put it back to build more power plants and then resell. Build more power plants and then resell. Because we need, for us to actually get to where we're going, that is the strategy I expect government to follow.
All right, I read in papers where the NERC had asked that those of them that bought into the privatized PHCN should not invest in the NIPP. What do you have to say about that? Well,
I agree with government, yes, because you see, they say jack of all trades is a master of none. You've taken over a business that you probably have very little experience of in the environment that you are. You need to spend more time to master that and allow other people to invest in generating plants so that they also can master generation. Yes, I think I agree with government to discourage those who have bought the discos to go and then buy transmission and then go and buy generation. It will take some time for you to develop capacity to be able to manage all the three.
All right. Thank you very much. It's been nice talking with you. Let's hope for the better in this power sector reform.
Okay, Poppy.
Right. I've been talking with Bimbo Onofowokan. He is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Power Systems Limited. And with that, we say thank you for being part of the program today. Do join us again, same time tomorrow. Until then, have a beautiful day.
In the life of every race when people are driven by echoes of the past to chart a course for an exalted future. Africa is at this threshold as major actors in the Africa arena plot a renaissance towards common destiny. Let's pedal across the streams of yesterday from the backstreets of Africa to the defining roles of policymakers, the political realities of the African nation, balance of power, and a strive to sustain national interest and identity. Join us on Network Africa on Channels Television. Network Africa, the rallying point for the emergence